welcome to another episode of Potpourri. I'm your host, Chevany Reed, and today's guests, Nicole Davis and John Gay. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So, TaxDrz, LLC, yes. TaxDrz Atlanta. I have to hear the whole story. How did you go from Howard to TaxDrz, John?
Well, I mean, it started as just having fun, pretty much. They say if you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life. So I actually started in my mom's garage because I was doing accounting work. I had a regular 9 to 5, and I was doing taxes on the side.
So it was like a one-man shop?
One-man shop. Then I brought a couple of my buddies in to help me, and before you knew it, we grew and grew, and I had to make a decision. You know, either follow my dreams or stay in my comfortable jail. And luckily I made the right decision.
So you say, okay, you know, before you knew it, and people think that's like overnight, like, well, John did it overnight, and no, it's not, right?
Definitely not. If you have anything that you know is worth having, you're gonna have to put some time and effort into it. So, you know, a lot of times when my friends and my buddies were going hanging out, because, you know, I started this business when I was like 22, 23 years old. That's the prime time, you know. So a lot of times when my buddies would be going out, you know, I'll have to go to UM to go get my master's in taxation, you know. So, but not knowing then, I just stayed on the constant path of what I was doing, and eventually, you know, clientele picked up, and I had to, you know, really make a decision. Do I continue to work at my 9 to 5, or do I continue to answer these phone calls because people were starting to tug at me, you know?
So we talk about answering phones,
Mm-hmm.
and from whence we came.
Yes.
Nicole, you were going to college, and then
Yes. Then I just ended up at the TaxDrz answering the phones. When I first started, it was totally crazy. I got interviewed by John. A friend of mine referred me to him. And the first day I went in there, I'm thinking I'm just going for an interview. He tells me to get to work. I'm like, what? Get to work? What am I supposed to do? You know, I had no idea about answering phones or anything. So I started off doing that. It was supposed to be temporary up until tax season ended, which is in April. And then after that, I never left. He kept me on. I kind of became like his assistant a little bit, doing a little bit of work for him, his scheduling, and started dibbing and dabbling into taxes.
So were you always into taxes? What was your love prior?
Well, my love prior was science. So not even
science and taxes?
Yeah, it was. It doesn't even mesh at all, you know, doesn't even mesh at all. But then I used to do my own taxes, thought I knew what I was doing, you know, on the TurboTax, not to downplay anyone who does that, but
I looked at TurboTax, I turned TurboTax right off.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no.
No, not gonna do it. So I used to, you know, dibble and dab and thought I knew what I was doing, but the process is totally different. You know, when I became a tax preparer with the TaxDrz, I learned so much more. You know, we go to the IRS conferences every year and learn different laws and the new laws that come out, anything to help better the clientele, you know, to help our clients get more money, you know, legally. Yes. Legally, we try to do, definitely.
There's so many of us that do TurboTax because they don't want to pay the $100 or the $150 to go to a professional, when Nicole can vouch that once you go to a professional, that can mean an extra $500, an extra $1,000. So oftentimes we limit ourselves by trying to save $50 and $100.
Now, do you think a lot of that too is people have been burnt by
Yes.
quasi-professionals?
Correct.
Yes.
And can you talk to us about what does it take to really be a professional tax preparer?
Well, I know that there's a lot of individuals out here that are attempting to do taxes, that claim they do taxes, and really they don't have a passion for it. You know, they look at it as, let me get a client in, let me get them out. But, you know, at TaxDrz, you know, we're going to interview you. We're going to know everything about you. We want to know, where did you go last year? Why did you go there last year? Because we want to give you every deduction that we possibly can. We have individuals that come in our office, kids, and maybe they have, you know, worked at Burger King or something like that, and their refund is only $6. You know, I tell my staff we need to do that tax return as well. You know, we don't charge that client because I know the value of money, you know, and I want my clientele to know their value of money. We also take it a step further because we have a certificate in financial planning where we can look into your retirement. We can look into your stock options and your IRAs and tell you how to structure your money or how to structure your business that will benefit you on the tax side. And so everything that we do is goes directly to that tax return.
And what I do like about TaxDrz is that you do put clients first. It's about the client. And I know that we talked a little about your background, but okay, you're answering the phones, but you're not in Miami anymore.
No.
You have your own TaxDrz. You're managing your own business.
Well, let me mention this.
Yes.
When Nicole started, you know, Nicole came aboard with only 2 hours. I told her that she only going to have 2 because we were packed. You know, I had all my staff, everybody was there. But, you know, her friend and I are very close. So I told her, listen, she can come. She's only getting 2 hours worth of work. And when I tell you, in that 2 hours worth of work, I've received so many compliments for her. And I have individuals that's been working there for years and working there 8 hours a day. But the clients used to come to me, and a lot of our clients, it's like family. They're like, listen, if you don't give Nicole more hours, you know, something's going to happen.
It's like, Nicole is not there yet?
Yes.
Oh, we'll call back.
So in that little bit of that little bit of time, she made such a lasting impression that I had to keep her. I had to make some ways for her. And within a year, 2 years, you know, she grasped it. She's goes to the conference, she studies and all that, and, you know, and just her people skills. You know, I know that she was ready to launch her own office. And, you know, during that same period of time, you know, TaxDrz vision was, let's expand into Atlanta, you know, whereas predominantly, you know, African Americans, clientele and things like that. We are African American owned business.
Definitely.
So why not expand to Atlanta? So we started in Atlantic Station 3 years ago, and lo and behold, now we're in South Atlanta, you know, with
In
Nicole.
Stockbridge,
Yes,
right?
in Stockbridge.
Now, what I like about the whole vision is that you didn't have to let your group expand, but that builds such a good like partnership. So talk to me about stepping out on your own, Nicole.
Well, I can say I was a little nervous, I guess maybe because it wasn't the full staff there. I was so accustomed to, if I needed anything, I could just run into John's office and be like, hey, look at this really quick. But I knew once I was on my own, if I had an issue, he has clients he has to deal with himself. Even though he is the CEO, clients still love him. They will call, they only want to speak with John. He has to deal with his own clients. So I knew everything would be on me. I knew that he trained me well enough that I would be able to handle it. But then, you know, you always think like, well, what if?
That
what if,
safety
yeah, that
blanket,
safety
right?
net, that safety blanket. So, I mean, my first tax season, of course, it went good by the grace of God, you know, doing everything. But of course, I knew I could always call him. When he told me, hey, here are your wings to fly, but you can always still call on me, I felt comfortable enough to know that if it was any issue, I could still call him. But, you know, like I say, it wasn't the same as him being in the next office, you know, next door for me to say, hey, this client's over here doing this and doing that. But, I mean, I handled it pretty well this year.
So you have to say then John armed you with all the weapons that you would
Yes.
need to
Yes.
step out on your own.
Yes, I
Yeah.
can say that,
And
definitely.
When you stepped out on your own, it's like, I know this.
Yes, I was like, I know this. I don't have to call him. Okay. But I'll call him and say, hey, let me tell you about this client. I need, you know, help with this. They have this retirement or something. Then he's able to assist me. But he definitely armed me with everything, the knowledge that I needed to know before you could kind of say, receive my wings to be able to have my own office, manage it.
Now, we are TaxDrz LLC, TaxDrz in South Atlanta, TaxDrz Atlantic Station, but that's not it.
It's TaxDrz New York, it's TaxDrz Miami. We're thinking about Houston. We have West Palm Beach now. We have 14 offices up and down the East Coast. And again, I just look at it from all those lessons and classes I took at Howard. It's like finally I'm starting to use them. You know, at the beginning it's just, you know, you just want to make money, just want to make money, just want to make money. But then sometimes you have to step back and figure out, you know, let's talk about business. Let's talk about expansion. Let's talk about how do we take over the world. And you can't take over the world by yourself. So you're gonna need strong people. Again, I started this business back in when I was 22, 23 years old. You know, I know nothing else now but to create business or create revenue streams. So for a person like Nicole who may be reluctant to, you know, I may not want to start my own office, I just know once you get used to it, there's no other way to go. So sometimes they need a little push to say, hey, just
Go.
you got to get out the nest now,
Right,
and go out and spread your wings.
Because you've already spread your wings.
Yeah.
And you know, okay, I can fly. But Nicole is like, no, that's John. Maybe his wings work a little bit different. Right?
But once I got out there, I see the difference now. There's no other way. Like he said, there's no other way. But he was definitely a great teacher to teach all of us, everyone who manages the office and who has an office. John is the teacher. Everyone comes through him first.
Now, John, I have to admit, I did a little digging.
Uh-oh.
No, and I've been digging with the John dig for a little while. And I was so impressed because everybody that I talked to from meeting with you during homecoming and your whole group, and it's like just being tax doctor-sized. You know, everyone is tax doctors and believes it, they live it, but they all have the same thing to say about you, that you're a great motivator, you're a great boss to have. And what makes you different? Talk to me about how you treat people and what you expect.
Well, I had the other type of bosses. You know, my boss experiences wasn't all that well, or my manager's experiences wasn't all that well, where, you know, you raising your voice at me and you really not giving me any guidance. And, you know, I just didn't understand how these individuals were put in these power positions and talk down on people. You know, I just can't see that. And one of the things that I told myself was would never be that way. I want my office to be ran how I want my office ran. I want it to be a lively environment. I want people to come to work. You know, you come in my office, I have the candles going, I have my music playing, and everyone knows that because I just want my environment to be a lovely one. You know, I'm not going to have a stuffy office. You're not going to come in here and work for me and just be all tense. No, we're going to have fun and we're going to make money. As long as we're making money at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Right, and it's a way to go about making money.
Right.
Because I support tax doctors, and that's why I was so anxious to have you guys here. But it's a different vibe.
Definitely.
I've been to other places.
Definitely.
And I guess stepping out on the edge to say it's a spiritual vibe because you treat people good. And I guess to whom much is given, much is expected. And the fact that just dealing with you, we would never know that you've just recently branched out on your tax doctor. When we return, more with John Gay, TaxDrz LLC, and Nicole Davis, TaxDrz South Atlanta.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me, tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Up to 40% of businesses never recover. Up to 40%.
Oh, those boys are much too much. We got the spirit, we're hot, we can't be stopped. We got much too much. We got the spirit, we're hot, we can't be stopped. We got the spirit, we're hot, we can't be stopped. We're gonna beat them and bust them.
The smallest
Spirit, we're hot, we can't be stopped. We're gonna beat them and bust them.
the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. Tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Up to 40% of businesses never recover. Up to 40%.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit, we're hot, we can't be stopped. We got much too much. We got the spirit, we're hot, we can't be stopped. We got the spirit, we're hot, we can't be stopped. We're gonna beat them and bust them.
The smallest-
Spirit, we're hot, we can't be stopped. We're gonna beat them and bust them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little.
Welcome back to Potpourri. I'm Chevany Reed, your host, and today's guest is John Gay and Nicole Davis, both of TaxDrz.com. John, you are the founder of TaxDrz LLC, and Nicole, the managing partner here at TaxDrz South Atlanta.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. And when we left, we were speaking about how TaxDrz is different. I mean, the feel, everything about TaxDrz is different.
Yes.
I feel like you're my people. You know? I want to tell everyone to go to TaxDrz. So what makes you different, Nicole? Which is definitely different from John.
Well, I guess sort of different from John. John, the one who's taught us. So we kind of, whatever he instilled in us, it kind of carried over, you know, as far as making the clients feel welcome. We're a family. When you come in, I basically know everything about you, kind of, sort of, you know, whatever you're willing to tell me. I mean, I sit down and have conversations with my clients. It's just not oh, give me your W-2 or your retirement papers and let me just enter this and get you out the door. No, we're talking about shows. I'm talking about your kids. Half the time, you know, I meet people, some women, like this year, the lady was pregnant. She brought her baby back and she had it. You know, it's like a family type of feel. And this is one of my new clients. She never met me before, but she felt welcome, you know.
And you need to feel welcome. When
Yes.
you're talking to someone about why you're in the hole or why
Right.
you owe the government or how can you get to that next level.
You'll be surprised at just the basic conversations that you'll think that we're having, but instinctively we're calculating, or is that a tax deduction? Can we
Right.
use that? You know, how are your kids doing? Oh, my kids are in college. Oh, did you know that you can write that off? My kid goes to after school care. Well, did you know you can write that off? So I feel that that's a plus to becoming a good tax doctor. You have to interact with your clients because you never know what deduction that you can use for that particular client. You also mentioned earlier about, you know, how can we help the client's tax return, or how can we help them get them to the next level? I always believe that the way America has been built is based on following your dreams. The way business is built is following a dream. And so many of us are reluctant to start that business, that home-based business, or if you enjoy baking, let's see if you can generate income by baking. It's all about developing revenue streams. I'm starting to begin to create my own little sayings, and a lot of times people think that being rich is how much money you have or how much money you have accumulated, but I believe being rich is developing revenue streams. So if you start that baking, or if you start that sewing or something on the side, you never know where that may take you. If I never took that step to start doing taxes out of the garage, I wouldn't be here right where I am now. So I want us, and I push my clients, if they have an idea, I make them go for it, you know, because you never know.
What do you have to lose, right?
What do you have to lose? And if you don't have any dreams, or if you're not dreaming to attain anything, it's like, you know, me personally, what are we really here for? You know, I know the older days, or when I started this business, you know, my mom and my family, you know, no one in my circle understood it. You know, we were taught to work 30, 40 years, retire, get that retirement check.
And barely survive.
And barely survive. Hopefully you don't get sick and things like that. But I'm from that next generation. And, you know, I just feel that that's not where it is. You know, you have to, if you want to be wealthy, if you want to be rich in America, everyone that's wealthy and rich has started on their own dream. You know, you have to create your own revenue stream. You know, you can't have that ceiling or that fixed income. You have to go for it. And if you don't go for it, how will we know?
So John, in the African American community or the minority community, we don't know that our money is just as good as the corporation's money.
Correct.
We think that our money, we don't need a tax professional.
That's
because we didn't make that much money.
Mm-hmm.
Or our babysitting service is not tax deductible.
Right.
How do we get that message? Can you just talk to us about what is it that we might not consider tax deductible that actually is? To let us know that even the smallest dream is tax deductible.
Yes.
If you are out to generate income, if you're starting something or starting a business to generate income, that's considered a business. You know, whether we know it or not, it is. Now, if you continue to have losses every year, there's a certain limit of years that you can continue to take these losses before it's considered a hobby. But if you are out to generate income for yourself, then that's a business. It's an instant tax deduction. It's just you need to get with us so we can write it off properly for you. A lot of times we're just going through the motions. We feel that we don't need a good tax preparer. You don't want to come to TaxDrz, you know, but there are so many ways that I feel that we can take your $100 business to a $500 business, you know, but so many of us in the, you know, minority community, you know, we want to look for the hookups. You know, we want to go to the person that says I can get back $15,000, not knowing that 2 years from now you're going to end up paying the IRS.
That
$15,000 plus. So you won't see a refund for the next 5, 10 years maybe.
Right.
But let's just do it the right way the first time, and let's escalator style up. You know, let's take an escalator to success, and eventually you'll get to that point where there's no looking back. You know, you're happy where you are financially. You're happy where you are with your business. You can then expand to what you created.
So Nicole, what do you have to tell other college students, let's say, about following their dream and walking out on faith? And
It's definitely all about faith. Walk out on faith, have a vision, and then also your support system. And not just, you know, your family at home. You have a family at work. Half the time you're spending majority of your time at work with people. And if you have a great support system and people that are pushing you, you see a vision, follow it. Have faith on it, you know. Small as a mustard seed, your dream, you may feel it's just that small, but trust me, God could do wonders, you know, in your life. And things that you have no idea, you know, because he is the king of all kings. He can do anything. So definitely, if you have that vision and if you want to leap out on faith, do it. Start today. Don't wait.
Start today.
Yes, don't wait.
The hardest part is starting.
Yes.
And how do you start?
You just go for it.
Just go for it.
If you designing clothes, get you a client. Start with your brother. Start with your family. You know, go for it.
So John, when you went for it, did you ever have reservations saying, what am I doing? Or you knew it was in here? Was it a feeling?
Well, what had happened was, you know, I didn't know what I was getting involved with. Well, actually, you know, I was fired 3 times, and I told myself I'm never going to get fired again. And just so happened my mentor, and that's a good thing to have. You got to have a mentor. My mentor started his business, and I told him I just wanted to work for him for free, just teach me. And from there, you know, it grew. And in the very beginning, you know, the money was coming in at a very young age. You know, I was making as much money as my mom and my dad, you know, working at a young age, and I still had freedom, you know, because tax season is really only 4 or 5 months out of the year, and I just took that and kept going with it, kept pushing it. I mean, even to this day, I can sit back now and say, hey, you know, I don't want to expand anymore. I want to just count the eggs that I have now, but Nicole can tell you, you know, I have so many things that's going on as far as expansion, as far as, you know, us tutoring the kids, as far as my nonprofit stuff going on. It's the only way I know how to go now.
Revenue streams.
Revenue streams.
Revenue stream.
Right.
And I know we have to wrap it up, but for people that don't realize, for the rappers, for the entertainers, everyone needs good financial planning.
Yes.
So just because you're a rapper selling your CDs out of the trunk of your car, that's a business. So I want our young people to know that TaxDrz.com is for everyone. It's not
Everyone.
just
Small, large.
Doesn't matter. We're there for them. If we can help you in some type of way, you know, maybe you, like we said earlier, you don't know that you can write something off, or, you know, just the smallest things. You don't know you're doing your cousin's hair, you know, and then your cousin gave you 5 more clients. You're a hairstylist, you know. Right. It might be out of your home, but that's the start of your faith. That's the start of your dream. So
where can we find you, Nicole? Where can we find TaxDrz?
Well, our web address is www.taxdrz.com. We have 2 locations here in Atlanta, one located in Atlantic Station, that's 201 Northwest 17th Place, and Tax Doctor of South Atlanta is located at 1850 Hudson Bridge Road.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Potpourri. I so look forward to following TaxDrz.com and seeing where the revenue stream takes you and all the wonderful things you're working on.
Yes, thank you for having us.
We had a wonderful time today. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Potpourri. I'm your host, Chevany Reed, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.